All right. Well, I think we've got a good group of folks. It's a little after 5. Um, and, many of you have been part of these conversations before. And so you know that I've got a couple dozen slides to share, just some general updates from different parts of our activities at the museum and out and about. And then, of course, we'll have time for whatever questions you have about what's up at MoDA? That's the theme of the evening. So we're really glad to see so many of you. And it's a it's a great time to connect and catch up. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen and get that lined up. Start the slideshow. How's that?
Right.
Okay. All right. Grand. All right. And remember that you can shrink, like right now, I can see kind of a camera roll of different faces along the left side of my screen. You can actually shrink that down to either one or no faces, so that you might see more of the slides. But I'll be describing things and talking about things, so not to worry. So here we are. Um, yep, back there. Yes, I was going to start off. How's MoDA doing? We are officially 40 something. So many of you helped participate in our 40th anniversary activities last year. We are now 41, so we can be 40 something for a while. And as we just discussed, we have been getting a lot of inquiries in the very recent days about how MoDA has been faring with the severe weather, and I'm very grateful to say that none of the severe storms have hit Elkhorn, and so both the museum and our immediate neighbors have been safe through the last several days of spring storms. And it's already been a very busy start to 2024. We've kind of taken a lot of the lessons learned in our outreach efforts in 2023 and applied those to plans for this year and moving in the future. So even between January and today, this is a list of all the communities that we've already had events in and visited with different groups. And so we're not, I can't really say we're slowing down. But we are keeping up, so that's good. And it's really great opportunities to be able to connect with friends and members and prospective members in some of these areas. Um, this picture, by the way, is the Copenhagen Kitchen, a restaurant in Katy, Texas, outside of Houston. And we had a wonderful dinner there in February when our board meeting was in Houston, and we were able to gather for a meal with the community and had well over 50, 60 people. They closed the restaurant for us, and it was just a wonderful meal. A couple pictures from our travels thus far in 2024. Cheyenne and Adam were in Colorado for the Denver Danes at Nisabo. I was in DC and got a a photo opportunity in the House Ways and Means Committee hearing room. And then we were also so pleased to partner with the Rose Theater in Audubon, one of our neighboring cities, and the bottom view is of their restored historic movie theater, which was all kind of a community-led event, beautiful facility, and we were able to have a series of documentary film screening there. So that was a great facility that we were thrilled to partner with, and it'd be great to show movies there in the future too. And things are really picking up in Elkhorn. This is the time of year when more events, more school groups, more visitors start to come. Last weekend, we had the annual Victor Borge Legacy Award piano recital, which is the picture on the left here. Again, over 50 people on a Sunday afternoon to listen to six extremely talented young musicians who get to perform on Victor Borge's first personal piano that we have here at the museum. And last week also was the annual visit of every third grader in Atlantic, Iowa. And one of the classes must have had enough time to check out our outdoor fitness equipment and enjoy some of the outside time. But they visit the Danish windmill and Bestemor's house and the museum and really get a thorough morning of all of the cultural attractions of our town. And our education programs have continued to grow and expand to truly encompass all ages. Again, a couple of views of some of our visiting school groups, both in our core exhibit and at Bestemor's house. The Spark program, which some of you have heard of, the Spark program is specifically designed to target older visitors, older adults with both social interaction and object-based learning. And most recently, they had a wonderful session with a presenter from the local quilt shop to tie in with the quilt exhibit that is on view currently for the next about week and a half before that closes. So here's some of our Spark participants enjoying a community-created quilt where different community members shared their family stories through quilt blocks, and it was a wonderful thing that we were proud to highlight. And of course, we've had some wonderful interactions through our genealogy center. Not only the expertise of our volunteer corps, who are featured in this photo, but also developing new educational programs and workshops to invite people to learn some of those skills of genealogy and raising awareness of the resources that we have at the Genealogy and Education Center. And another behind the scenes kind of winter project was a major change, major project for the design store. We completely shifted from our previous software platforms to Shopify, which now runs both our online store and our website, as well as our on-site point of sale systems. And as I said, if we did it right, you didn't notice. And that the shopping experience is, if anything, even more smoother and even more user-friendly. Nan Dreyer, our store manager, Terry Amaral, one of our frontline visitor service staff members, Phil Wernsman, our accountant, the three of them really worked together closely for months with an outside consultant in preparing all of the inventory data, all of the store records to transfer to this Shopify platform. Our facilities manager, Tim Palmer, was able to do all the hardware wiring for new equipment. So now there's still some learning curve, but we're ready for the summer season and just bring it on. Bring on the shoppers, bring on the visitors. All of that is now integrated in Shopify. So that's a huge step forward in modernizing our operations there. We were also in the last few months were honored to receive two significant bequests, and I wanted to share both of these stories with you because they are in some ways so typical of some of the members who make surprisingly impactful gifts through their estate planning. Both of these donors remembered the museum in their estate plans, Both of them were what we would consider very modest long-time members. I was able to calculate their annual giving, and Alice Jorgensen was a member since 1989. We didn't even have a building open in 1989. She was a wonderfully loyal member, and her average annual giving was less than $100 a year. But when we received the first distribution of her bequest, it was a five-figure donation, which is, makes a big, big difference for our museum. Another anonymous donor, a very similar situation, was a member for over 15 years, with no, extraordinary lifetime gifts while she was an active member. Her bequest gift was six figures, and specifically earmarked half of which to support the Genealogy and Education Center and half to support general operations at the museum. And so, both of these arrived in February. It was a big surprising month, February. We usually don't expect things like this in the middle of winter, but it just again reinforced how important planned giving is for the growth and stability of our museum. There have been many examples in the past where a planned gift, when it's realized, has made a hugely impactful a change and for our institution. And so we continue to emphasize the ongoing recruiting of future legacies and, providing information for our current members of ways that they might consider making a planned gift in their estates, or naming the museum as a beneficiary of some of their assets. And so there's two particular strategies that we are implementing this season. You will soon, in the next week or two, you should all receive your spring MoDA magazine, and we've included some of these options and as a kind of an awareness and educational piece within the pages of the magazine. And we are also putting a kind of a little reference flyer in with our summer appeal letter, which will also be going out in the next few weeks, so that there's a reference that not everyone is ready to think about planned giving right now, but maybe in the next time someone meets with their financial advisor, that this might be a reminder that these legacies do make an impact. And we're also using those tools to highlight awareness that we are now able to offer charitable gift annuities, which is a type of giving where when you make a major gift to a nonprofit, you receive income yourself for the rest of your life, a guaranteed income for the rest of your life. And whatever remains of that initial gift at the time of your death becomes a gift to that nonprofit. So that's what a charitable gift annuity is. And by partnering with the National Gift Annuity Foundation, we are able to offer that option for those who are interested in that. So just give us a holler anytime you want to learn more, and we're happy to have a conversation. I wanted to make a couple of introductions of new faces in our staff team in the last few months. On the left, Addison Marsingill joined us in early February to work, first of all, on the Sisterhood Digital Archives project. He's been digitizing some of this really important collection of original materials from the National Danish Sisterhood, and some of those materials are already available online. So it's exciting to see this process finally come to fruition. We're able to do this thanks to generous gifts from sisterhood lodges and individual members all across the country, and it's wonderful to see how the sisterhood as it exists today has been very active and proactive in supporting the history that we are keeping safe for them. So this is that next step in taking the kind of critically important and unique resources and making them available to the public online. Addison will actually not be with us for very long. He just announced this morning that he's accepted a new position with the National Park Service at a site in Lincoln, Nebraska, where they have a regional repository for archaeological collections. And so at the end of May, he'll be done with us and we'll be moving on to this Park Service opportunity. So we're happy for him that move is possible. I also want to introduce Adam Bierstedt, who's the new the new Albert Ravenholt Curator of Danish American Culture. Adam joined us a little later in February, and jumped right into a lot of the collections and exhibition projects that were already midstream, and is beginning to develop some of his own ideas for a couple years in the future. Ask him about Viking Mania, and he'll be happy to fill you in on that. Here's a little primer on that Danish Sisterhood online library I mentioned. The vast majority of materials that we're working on digitizing are handwritten ledgers from sisterhood lodges all over the country that were kept by the secretaries of each lodge. And so these are, irreplaceable things. Some of them are written in Danish, and we can really track the transition from when a lodge was predominantly using Danish language to when they shift to English. And they're from lodges that are still active, some lodges that have closed. We have over 350 of these ledgers. And so it has been a massive project to undertake. We've rented a special scanner to scan these kind of large format pages, and they are being uploaded to the online digital library, which you can find through our website. Another work in progress is kind of ongoing work in the Jens Jensen Prairie Landscape Park. We started planting prairie seeds and plants 11 years ago, and we didn't know much about what we were doing. And in the past 11 years, our in-house team has become much more knowledgeable about what the level of work and commitment and maintenance it takes to really encourage a prairie ecosystem to thrive. Part of that is regular burns, and we did spring burns with the help of the local Elkhorn Volunteer Fire Department. And one evening they were here just at dusk, which makes for great prairie burn pictures. And so I had to share that with you here. This is one of the areas, the hillsides that surround our parking lot as they were burning their way across those berms. So there's that. We are also looking into how to create our master plan for the next phase of our property development. It's been 11 years since we started recreating the native tallgrass prairie in the Jens Jensen Prairie Landscape Park. And now that that is on more of a management level rather than a kind of active growing building kind of new effort level, we need kind of the phase two of a direction on what is still needed in the park, what can we expect for just long-term annual maintenance investments, and what are some of the other programmatic or infrastructure elements that would really enhance how we integrate our outside space with our inside space, and how visitors can best enjoy that. So seeking a master plan process is one of our priorities for the coming year. Also related to the Prairie Landscape Park, we have been able to have a prairie intern in the summer for the last few years, but this is the first year that it will officially be the Ronald D. and Mary L. Bro Prairie Internship. We are really thrilled that thanks to an endowment gift This internship has been named in Ron and Mary Bro's honor. I'm sure some of you served on the board with Ron. He was a longtime board member. Ron and Mary were major museum supporters over the years, and their daughter, Beth Bro Roof, was also a recent board member and served as board president rather recently. So we are really thrilled that the family felt that this was a fitting way to honor Ron and Mary. And so this summer internship is now officially known as the Bro Prairie Internship. So the first Bro Prairie intern is Grace Cruz. She's finishing her sophomore year at Wayne State College in Nebraska. And something that we really enjoyed learning about in her interview was that she has competed and won national 4-H plant identification contests, which makes her uniquely qualified for this particular internship and identifying what are the plants in the prairie that we want to grow there and what are the plants that we don't particularly want to grow there. So that'll be a big part of her job this summer. Some of our upcoming activities, of course, Tivoli Fest is right around the corner, Memorial Day weekend. Most of the activities are taking place on Friday afternoon, evening, and then all day Saturday. And so if you're in the area coming to town, I know some of you are planning to have some high school reunion gathering, Tivoli Fest weekend. There's always, plenty to do and plenty of ways to catch up with what's going on in Elkhorn and at our museum. Also coming soon are a whole calendar of our summer programs, some specifically for youth in day camps or theater camps, but also activities suitable for families or geared more towards grown-ups. For those of you who joined us for our 40th anniversary dinner and celebration on site last June, you saw the youth performance of The Ugly Duckling. Well, we're doing another youth theater camp, again, doing the performance on Sankt Hansaften at the end of June, because we still have a couple more scripts of adaptations of Hans Christian Andersen plays, and so we'll be using those resources, and again, encouraging our local youth to get some theater experience and share that with their community. If you're wondering what's going on the picture on the left, those are the kids from last summer's Lego Day Camp, and they they created parachutes for Lego minifigures and tested launching them off the walkway from the mezzanine level down to the museum lobby. Fortunately, minifigures are very sturdy, and so I don't think there were any lasting injuries involved to the minifigures or to the kids. That's good. We're expanding our range of programming. We're introducing and experimenting with yoga in the prairie, with some outdoor paint opportunities, and also some family friendly events for all ages. So those are already launched on our website, and people can register online on the website, which is also reflects some of our back end improvements in how we can manage our database, manage online payments, and be able to handle that ourselves. Also coming soon and opening the Friday of Tivoli Fest is our next art exhibit. Inger Nova Jorgensen is a sculptor and painter in Oregon, and so she is bringing both paintings and sculpture to Elkhorn, and will be doing a gallery talk on the Friday afternoon of Tivoli Fest on May 24th. So those pieces will be on view through late October. So those of you attending the October board meeting will have a chance to see this on its final weekend. But she has some really wonderful kind of nature inspired presentations of human figures, as you can kind of see in this this example here. She is also can trace a line of about 6 generations of artists in her Danish family tree, and an article about that will be in the forthcoming MoDA magazine. So her dad wrote that article. He was well positioned to be the author there. And a little farther down, not right around the corner, but coming in the fall, we're going to have an exhibit of Per Arnoldi poster art, and that will open by the end of October. This is sponsored by the Danish Home in Croton-on-Hudson, and you might think, but wait, didn't the Danish Home close? Yes, you are right. But in the process of closing and dispersing some of the possessions of the Danish Home made a gift of a collection of Per Arnoldi posters, and also provided financial support to care for those posters. So that is going to allow us to frame the posters, get them ready for installation, and also honor the gift from the Danish Home in this way. So that's our plan for our art exhibit to cover the fall over the winter and into next spring. And then also, just a little later in November, will be our major next exhibition up on the second floor level, Danish Ceramics Beyond Blue and White. This will open, and we will actually do a formal opening event on November 15th. That's a Friday. So, if you're in the area, I hope you'll kind of pencil that into your calendars. We've already booked the harpist to play during the opening. So, we're already looking ahead to that event and really celebrating this as a major exhibition. This exhibition will be on view through all of 2025, and the reason we're tying it to that year is that 2025 is the 250th anniversary of the founding of Royal Copenhagen porcelain factory in Denmark. So this exhibition is really a survey of that 250-year history. And we're going to keep it in Elkhorn through all of 2025. And we are actively in communication with other host venues for which we plan to travel this exhibition to other places in the U.S. For us and internally and um, uh, in working through this exhibition and wanting to position our museum as a resource and a reference point for Danish ceramics, this exhibition will include about 70 ceramic pieces in the gallery. The majority of them are going to be from our own collection. And that's a new milestone for our museum in being able to launch a decorative arts exhibition like this, a design exhibit like this, and be able to say the vast majority of these pieces are from our collection. And if someone else wants to borrow them for their exhibits, we can be that resource. So how have we grown the ceramics collection? Well, a major donation recently came from a museum member, Bill Derenbacher, who lives in California. And the pieces that you see as they were unpacked in the storage, and we packed them. Delaney, our registrar, and Amelia, our communications specialist, and I traveled to California in January to work with Bill and pack these things in a U-Haul. And then Delaney and Amelia got the pleasure of driving the U-Haul back from California to Iowa in January. Fortunately, the weather cooperated. They didn't run into any major storms, and everything arrived safely. So you can see the variety, the colors, the size of some of these things. It's really exciting and really extraordinary. We have already had in our collection a pretty good representation of Bjorn Wienblad's collectible works, things that are pretty familiar in a lot of people's homes, whether it's the plates that mark the calendars of the year or plates that reflect the story of the Arabian Nights and Aladdin and Sinbad and things like that. The pieces that we were able to acquire from Bill are pieces that we would not be able to acquire from other places. They would either be financially out of reach, or there just aren't that many of them, or some of them are completely unique. So this was a really wonderful opportunity. All told, there are 35 works of art by Bjorn Wienblad in this donation. A couple close-ups here, and on the right, some additional pieces by other artists that Bill also offered us. Ceramics pieces by Jacob Bang, and art glass works by Michael Bang and Per Lutkin, who worked with Holmgard Glass. So we were able to flesh out even more of our decorative arts collection thanks to Bill's generosity. And this Danish ceramics project has really allowed us to build connections with a broader network of resources. On the right is Kevin Henry, who's a private collector in Colorado, who really focuses on kind of Danish modern period stoneware. And he's both published about some of the mid-century stoneware makers at the time. He contributed to a brand new book about the Saxbo pottery studio. And so as he's worked with his collection and was looking to sell things, we actually found him on eBay. He had been listing some of his pieces for sale on eBay, and we noticed that his descriptions of these pieces as a seller were extraordinarily detailed, and clearly he knew a lot about these pieces. And there was a little line at the bottom of the description says, "I have other pieces for sale for my collection. Contact me." So we contacted him, and so in Kevin we've found a wonderful collaborator, someone who's been very generous with his expertise in this. It hasn't been his professional life. This has always been just a passion hobby for him, and so he's been a wonderful resource in helping us do that. And he's made connections for us with other resources in both in Denmark and in the US. We have also been the recipient of a grant of 8 pieces of contemporary ceramic art from the New Carlsberg Foundation. I can't show you a picture quite yet because we're still working through the logistics of getting them packed and shipped from Denmark. But that was really exciting. And I've learned since we first started communicating with them about their award of these pieces that we are the first non-Danish museum that they have ever awarded pieces from their foundation collection to. And so that's very exciting. And so I'm working on scheduling a visit to their foundation when I'm in Denmark at the end of this month, and so that we can talk about maybe a further relationship and a long-term commitment of their interest in seeing if they would like to further support our goal of really being that resource for Danish art and design in America. Just a handful of some of the new acquisitions. Personal favorite is the elephant on the left that was made by the Pulshus studio. And wonderful example of minimalism joined with animal figurines. Of course, if you think of so many animal figurines from the porcelain factories from Royal Copenhagen and Bing and Grundahl, and here's one of the smaller studios tapping into that history and tradition, but in that very modern minimalist way. In the middle is a vase by Jai Nielsen, who worked both for Royal Copenhagen and for Saxbo and for his own studio. This is a vase with images of the gift of the Magi. You can see the mother and child on the left facet, and then one of the gifts and the 3 kings are on the other sides of the vase. And then on the right is a work by Helge Kristoffersen, which actually stands kind of, it's a nice tall piece, so it's been like Christmas every month this year as different things are coming in from different sources. That's the end of my pictures. But I'm happy to dive deeper into anything that I mentioned or whatever questions you have about what's going on at the museum.
Well, let me just say, wow. Wow. Those collections, Tova, are just amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks. It is really exciting. And and the foundation for what we're now able to realize. I mean, this is a years long, many years long kind of planning, thinking, fundraising. And, if Delaney hadn't joined us a year ago to be the person to reorganize visual storage so that we could really highlight, decorative arts as a section and make room for these new acquisitions. I mean, today I walked past visual storage and I saw two people specifically looking through the glass walls at the ceramic shelves,
Mm,
and we can now do that. And so to be able to lay the groundwork to make the space to think about, what does it mean to intentionally grow a part of the collection? Because that's
right.
pretty new for this museum.
Yes,
We have
yes,
not been in the
yes,
process or habit of going out and sometimes even buying things. So,
exactly.
trying not to go hog wild here, but it's exciting.
Well, in this ceramic that the gentleman from Fort Collins is helping you with both knowledge and maybe acquiring pieces too. I mean, obviously his depth of knowledge is incredible, but to learn for you or the museum as a whole, all of those different aspects of it. I mean, it's not just blue and white, like you say. I mean,
Exactly.
as somebody that just loves that art like that, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you develop and how you showcase it and books that you might issue on some of their things.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's an extended period, but wow, yeah,
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thanks. Come on by
yeah,
anytime. We'll give you the insider's tour, Cindy.
yeah. I'm hoping to get back this summer sometime.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't have any questions, but just want to compliment you and your staff for doing such a fine job with the museum, especially I love the summer programming that you're doing and the broad range from kids up to the senior citizens and incorporating that vast age bracket that keeps promoting the museum.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. I really appreciate that. And I still pinch myself that Alyssa Lacan agreed to join us full time. Because she was so successful at the Elkhorn Library as the library director for many years. And we knew that she was just so good at doing this. So that she was interested to join our team and bring us her talents full time is just a fantastic asset. Mhm.
Thumbs up.
Thanks. I I will admit I intentionally did not include in this update a expected departure, which some of you know about, but some of you may not. And that is Terry Johnson has announced her retirement later at the end of this summer, and I'm in denial, which is why I didn't include it in the PowerPoint. But but don't worry, I've got my own box, Terry.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, I'm interrupting Tova.
No, 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 no. Go for it.
I made the decision and talked to Tova and gave my notice and talked to all of you, but I can't talk.
It's not official until we post the job openings, which has to happen soon. But we that'll be a big change. But I am unreserved in my congratulations, because it's certainly something that I hope to do someday too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking, it's mixed, it's mixed emotions, absolutely. And I'm not working thinking, I really haven't thought about, oh, I've only got so many days left or checking. I mean, we're so busy and I'm actually planning, pre-planning the October board meeting, and we've got meetings in October at Midwest Ground Covers in St. Charles, and the opening, I booked the harpist for the grand opening of the ceramics. So I'm still invested.
Yep.
Good job, Terry.
Thanks.
And then we'll expect you to attend all of those events too, just to make sure they turn.
Well, I don't know. I might be traveling. New York is my first stop.
We have plenty of room.
I'm bringing some crazy girlfriends.
We still have plenty of room.
Get ready, everybody. She's gonna make the rounds.
But while you're out here, I just do want to say thank you. It's been a labor of love. You know how I feel about all of you, about the museum, and you're all very special. So enough.
Any
Well,
other questions about what we're doing, Eric?
I was just going to say that's a really nice call and a really nice roundup.
Yeah, and thank you all for joining us. And whatever time zone you're in, we figured that 5 p.m. Central seems to work for for a lot of you. So we'll continue doing these. It's just, we started this during COVID, and it continues to be just a really nice way to reach all of you who we don't get to connect with in person as often as maybe we used to, or as often as we wish we could. And so we will continue to do these updates, and hope you'll join us for the next one.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
you, Tova.
Thanks,
Nice to see
everybody.
you all.
Bye.